Hey guys, welcome back. Do you have one or more SACDs laying around and you want to figure out how to turn those into a DSD file on your computer so you could stream it to your local stereo? Well, today we're going to show you how to do that and walk you through all the steps. Today I'm going to be using macOS, but similar principles apply for Windows and Linux. First thing I did was Google how to rip an SACD. The preliminary step obviously is to own at least one SACD to get this job done. We're going to be ripping this to DSD, so I Googled how to rip an SACD to DSD and I got a good result on the Absolute Bocking website. So I read through this website and I realized that there's only a few select BluRay disc SACD players that will work with this DSD extraction method. So I tried my hardest to get it to work with my BluRay player built into the computer, my LG BluRay player. That was not able to happen. I tried it so many ways and it's just not compatible with SACD. It only read the CD audio and not the SACD audio. Hey guys, so I ordered an SACD player on eBay last week and it finally came in. It's been sitting here at my desk for a couple of days. I'm getting ready to start this project. So here it is. I got it in on eBay. And I'm gonna open this thing and see what's inside. Make sure your BluRay player has a remote. There's gonna be some menu options you wanna get to, and it's not gonna be completely as easy using the buttons on the front of the BluRay player as it is with a remote. So make sure when you're buying your BluRay player on eBay that it says it has the remote. Just going over the brief specs of this BluRay player, the front has a few buttons, eject, play, stop, power. The rear has the power cable, video out, digital audio out, line out left and right, HDMI out, and a LAN connection. That's going to be critical. Having an internet connection is what you're going to use to get the files off the SACD and into your computer. See, this isn't going to be able to get done using an internal CD-ROM or DVD or Blu-ray ROM. You have to use an actual SACD player. And the basic gist of this whole thing is that it's going to read the SACD, use a custom script. Oh, by the way, there's also a USB port on the front, so you'll need a USB port. So you're going to use a custom script loaded on the USB thumb drive that you're going to make. When you put the thumb drive in this port, it's going to start a script that's going to run in the SACD player. It's going to serve the files up over the network to your computer, where a program is going to rerun on your computer to read the files from this file server that's running on the SACD player, and it's going to be able to read it sector by sector and pull down the files to your computer. This all sounds a little bit technical and highly complicated, and it is a little complicated and a little technical, but we're going to try to walk through this step by step. So the first step you're going to do is you're going to plug in your BluRay player, you're going to connect the LAN, connect the HDMI to your TV, and you're going to power this thing up, and we're going to set some default settings. So first thing you do, plug in the HDMI cable. Make sure you have a LAN cable connected. If you don't have a LAN cable, you could probably use Wi-Fi, but I prefer a hardwired connection. It's more secure. And then you have to plug it in, obviously. Wait till it boots up. All right, once it turns on, it might be put into sleep mode. Make sure it turn it on with the remote. Okay, first thing you want to do is make sure it's up to date. So go to Setup and go to Network Update. It should say already updated. If it doesn't say already updated, download the latest firmware. Next thing you want to do, go to Audio Settings. DSD output mode should be set to off. Go to BluRay DVD settings and BD internet connection or BluRay disc internet connection set to do not allow. Once you do that, it should be good. Next thing you want to do is check your network settings. You're going to find out what the IP address is of your server. This is going to come in handy later. If you go to System Settings, System Information, you can see that your current IP address is displayed on the screen. You want to either write this down or take a picture of your screen so that you know this IP address, because we're going to try to connect to that from a program on our computer in a little while. Next thing you need is a USB thumb drive. This one is about 8 gigabytes. It doesn't have to be very large at all. It's just a matter of how you format it and get it to work. So first thing you want to do is insert the USB thumb drive into your computer. Then you want to go to Disks, Disk Utility. go to the USB thumb drive in disk utility, click erase. You can call it SACD-RIP or whatever you want to call it, just something that you know what it is. Make sure it's MS-DOS FAT and master boot record, not GUID partition map or Apple partition map. Master boot record. Click erase. Next thing you want to do is, and I'll leave this link in the description, you're going to go down to where it says download from this very website and download the AutoScript.zip. If you open that up and extract it, copy the folder. It needs to be called AutoScript, the name of the folder. Copy that right into the root of your USB drive. So inside your USB drive, you should have a folder called AutoScript, and inside of that, there should be 3 files: AutoScript, AutoScript.tss, and SACD extract 160. Once you do that, you can eject your USB drive and grab your SACD and go over to your SACD player. All right, the first thing you do to get started is you want to start with a clean slate. So after every SACD, the whole thing needs to be shut down on the BluRay player and rebooted. So I'm going to start clean here just to show you how the steps proceed. So first I unplug the BluRay player and then plug it back in. Once it turns on, eject the disk tray. Put your disk in the disk tray, but do not shut the disk tray. You're going to take your USB thumb drive. You're going to open the USB port, which may have a plastic cover on it, and insert the thumb drive into the USB port. The SACD player will automatically close in about a few seconds once it reads the USB drive. Now that it's closed the SACD tray, it's going to read the songs off the SACD. Once you see that it's ready to play, you're not going to click play. You're going to press the power button and it's going to put it into standby mode. Once it's in standby mode, then it can act like a file server, and we're going to use that over on our computer next. So don't worry, it's not actually off, it's just ready to read the files. Just trust me, this is going to work. Okay, you need one more file. You need to search up SACD_extract. And I'll leave a link to this in the description. What you want to do is download the version of the computer that you're running. For me, it's macOS. Download that program, extract it. All right, so you have a folder now that's called SACD extract version number operating system. So what you're going to do is open up a terminal. There's going to be a little command line in here, but I'll try to walk you through it pretty straightforward. It's not complicated once you get the hang of it. You're going to CD, which is change directory, to downloads. And you're going to go /SACD and hit tab. That's going to bring up the whole directory. Then you need to make this file executable. So go chmod +x ./SA tab. And that'll put the file name there. And now it's executable. Now you just need to run the command that's going to extract the files over the network onto your local disk. Going back to the website that we're referencing, if you scroll down most of the way, you'll see the command. So we're going to copy and paste this, but we're not going to run it because we're going to change a few of the parameters. So copy and paste that into the terminal, but you're going to change a few things. First thing you're going to do, you're going to leave the port 2002, and that's what comes after the colon. But you're going to change the IP address to the IP address that you wrote down earlier. That's on the SACD player. Then it should say -S-Z, and then -2 means it's going to be the 2-channel stereo rip. We'll also do multi-channel next, and I'll show you how to do that if the disk has multi-channel on it. Then it's -O, which is output, and then you're going to put the folder name where you want to rip this. For me, since I'm on a Mac, it'll be users, my name, music, and then I have a DSD folder inside of music. So there's the full command for my computer. Again, make sure the IP address is correct and it says :2002 after the IP address. Make sure these options are the same and the output folder is where you want it to go. Hit enter. Okay, if something goes wrong, it may mean you don't have the right IP address. Double check your IP address and run the command again. Assuming you have the right IP address, it should start ripping within a few seconds. Now, this output says on the left how much percentage it's completed so far on the current track. And then on the right, in the middle somewhere, it says total, and it says 1% here because that means it's 1% or 2% of the total disk. So here you're going to keep track of how far along you are. And this will be done in about 10 to 15 minutes max. Let's check back then. All right, guys, eventually the rip will complete and you'll see here how long it actually took. This one took about 20 minutes. So this must be a much larger disk than some of the other ones. Some of the other ones I did took about 10 minutes to 12 minutes. So this is the 2-channel I ripped. Some of the discs come with a multi-track section also, as well as stereo. So you can rip that with the same command with one slight variation. So go to the terminal and press the up arrow. Go over to the -2 and change that to -M. So -2 is for stereo, -M is for multi-track. If you press enter, that'll rip that for 5-channel or 6-channel, depending on what's on there. All right, guys, this is just wrapping up. We're finishing up the multi-channel rip here. And there we go. That took a little longer. That took 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 37 seconds. So this SACD is a little bit larger than some of the other ones I've done. This actually took a lot longer to do the multi-channel than initially expected. But the good news is we got the SACD to be ripped, and I'm going to look on my hard drive and see where I put this file so I can put it up onto my Roon server and use that for streaming. So what I would do is take your DSD rip here in the Flash Live, for example, is the one I just did. Copy that to a file server. So I'm going to put that right up here in Music DSD. That way it's backed up and I won't lose these files because it took quite a while to rip and I don't want to lose these files. Also, depending on how you have it set up, make sure it goes to a folder that Roon can get to. So for me, on my Roon Rock, I go to storage and I put my DSD files here. So I'll copy my music and I'll just copy the 2-channel for Roon. And I'll put that in storage. I'll just create a new folder. And I'll put that there. All right, once that's up there, what you do is if you're using Roon, go to Roon, go to storage, and for your storage location, click Force Rescan. Once that's done, you could search up the album in the Flash. And here we go, top results. Let's take a look at that. If you go to versions, you can see that this is my local version and it says it's DSF, DSD64, dynamic range. So you can go ahead and play this. Keep in mind that the conversion will happen on the Roon server if your DAC does not support native DSD. So it'll automatically detect these things. If you have a DAC that supports DSD conversion, then it can stream the bits directly to the DAC and you'll hear the DSD converted right there in the DAC. Otherwise, it will be down mixed in the Roon application down to PCM 2-channel and stream to your DAC that way. So when I stream to my media room here, if I were to press play here, you click this little dot here and you see that it's converted from DSD down to this bit rate down to 24-bit, which is still phenomenal quality. And I have to say still sounds really good, regardless which way you go. And at least you have the files for archival purposes, and you'll keep them forever. So if you have upgraded equipment in the future that will support DSD playback, now you have the files to play those. So congratulations, you just ripped your first SACD. As I said in the beginning of this video, to do the next disc, you're going to have to unplug your SACD player and plug it back in and do it all over again the same way we did originally. You don't have to redo the initial setup steps, but you do have to reinsert the new disc and put the USB drive back in and let the USB drive close the disc like we did in the original part of the video. So if you're not sure how to do that, go back to the beginning of the video and see how we did that. As always, thanks for liking this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more audio and technology content.